When I first went to camp, no way. Like, I couldn't even call a takeaway to, like, order something.
And she picked me up in a car. You can drive.
You drive?
What? Like, oh, it's
Not just a golf cart?
Yeah, like, you have a house. Really?
Like, he was like, what has happened to Ffion? Like, who is she?
When people would be like, are you coming back? I'd be, maybe. Don't know. Well,
And then in your head, you're like,
yeah,
definitely.
I'll say, yeah. Depends what I've got on. Hi, I'm Libby.
And I'm Ffion.
And welcome back to the final episode of the Camp Leaders Podcast. So this episode, we're going to be talking about coming back from camp, what your life might look like, and then what your future might look like as a result of camp. Mm-hmm. So, Ffion, of course, for us, we are very lucky in the fact that we both kind of ended up here.
Yeah.
straight from camp this year. Would you say this was kind of like on your radar? Were you expecting it or?
I wouldn't say I was like expecting it, but it definitely has been on my radar.
Mm-hmm.
But then I think it was this summer at camp, my friend was like, I know you're looking for a job and I've just seen that Camp Leaders have one. So I was like, oh, I'll apply, I'll see what happens. And then when I got it, I was like, what? What about you? Because I know that you'd like...
Yeah, I was enrolled for a master's, but it was kind of like a panic master's. So I finished uni last June.
Yeah.
And then I was kind of just like,
yeah,
fine, I'll do a master's. But I didn't really want to do one. It was just kind of to kill time. And then when I was at camp, it was actually colour war. And I saw an Instagram story.
Yeah.
Like Camp Leaders were hiring. And I was like, pause colour war. I'll be right back. But yeah, so I think we both got really lucky.
Yeah, definitely.
It was pretty much as soon as we got back from camp, wasn't it? But
yeah,
obviously, this is like my first job out of uni,
mm-hmm.
whereas you've been to camp and then had other jobs. Do you feel like camp has kind of impacted like how you work, or like impacted you, like, and that's as a result like impacted how you work, or?
100%. Yeah, when I first went to camp, no way. Like, I couldn't even call a takeaway to like order something. So I feel like no way could I have done a job where I was like on the phones and things like that. But my old job, I was like on the phones throughout the day, having like quite tough conversations, and I feel like if I wouldn't have gone to camp and
We've never done that.
I just don't think I ever could have done it, because I was just so shy and I hated speaking in front of anyone.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I loved like meeting new people and chatting, but like to like a crowd of people, like no way could I have spoke to anyone. But then at camp, I feel like I got up on stage, I was performing at campfires, and you just kind of like have to speak in front of people in certain like situations, and you have to have maybe difficult conversations with the kids and stuff like that sometimes. Like, not all the time, but
things are going to come up.
Yeah, and I feel like that helped prepare me then for afterwards. It even like helped prepare me to interview for jobs, I think.
Yeah, well, 100%.
Yeah,
100%.
Because I know you said this is your first, but did you find that like even in like everyday life,
even noticing it
like
myself, like I've never been a shy person. Mm-hmm. I've never really been like quiet, but I think it has made me that bit more like, not necessarily confident, I guess.
Yeah.
Like in the first week at my camp, we have something called mock rock, and it's just the staff there, and it's basically like a lip sync battle, and they do it in the first week on purpose to get you out your comfort zone.
Yeah.
And I feel like,
I bet the first time you saw it, you were sat there like
even like going back, I'm like, oh no, I don't want anymore. But I just think you're exactly what you said. Like, I don't want to just repeat you, but I think you're going to be in situations where you've got to talk to like 13-year-old girls. Do you know, like you're talking to all of them, you're telling them this, and I think it just becomes a second nature. So I definitely think confidence wise, like people skills, because you're meeting people from literally everywhere, like from cultures that you might never have met somebody from before, and you're just getting to know like people.
I think it's the people skills, and I feel like the time management skills that you get from camp as well, because you've got to stick to, you know, a schedule, and if you're 5 minutes late to something, that throws off the schedule then. So like you have to be there on time, and even like waking up the same time every day, like it gets you into a nice routine, and I feel like you definitely adopt some of those behaviours when you come back, which then 100%. Help you again, and even if you don't realise, but I feel like having a routine in your day will then help in your professional and like personal life as well, to keep on top of things. So, and
like quick thinking as well, if that's
problem solving,
that's it. Because like if at camp, if it's a rainy day, one of your co's isn't feeling well, it's like you're here, you come with me, like it's things like that. And I think that's definitely
even like fixing things. I know that sounds like silly, but say before I went to camp, if something broke, I'd be like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, it'll be fine. But now I'm like, no, I'll use this, like I can fix it. Like, and I feel like it's just like my brain works differently.
That's probably like a confidence thing as well, though, isn't it? Like confidence in a roundabout way, I guess.
Yeah, but I do think it's like being resourceful, because you have to be resourceful at camp. Like you said, if it's like a rainy day or something and you don't know what to do, like you need to just think, right, we'll do this, and you just like anything around you, like we'll play with this mud, like obviously not, but you know what I mean, you like just think of something on the spot. So there's just, I feel like there's so many behaviors and
stuff that you pick up.
Like
I feel like so different as a person since coming back from camp, and I can't even put my finger on it all the time, but I just think me like 3 years ago wouldn't be like that, if that makes sense, or wouldn't do this. Like I think camp has changed me,
definitely,
as cringe as it sounds. But even with like post camp, obviously not necessarily for me yet, but I think when I think back to people at my camp, like there's people who've been going back to camp for 10 years, and there's people who've like moved to the States, like using Paul from your camp as an example. He's moved, he lives there now, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think he's just got his citizenship.
Has it?
Yeah,
Congrats,
recently.
Paul.
I know. Yeah, he met his wife at camp, your camp. And then they got married and moved to the US. So I feel like, and well, he's obviously been going back to camp now for, I think he went to your camp for 7 years or something like that as a returner, and then obviously now he's the director of a camp. So I feel like there are a lot of people that go back each year
and move up and up, I guess. If you keep going back, you're eventually gonna move up. I guess.
I loved going into a leadership position.
Did you?
Yeah.
I
I loved being a counsellor. Like I absolutely loved being in the cabin with the kids as well. It was great. I feel like that helped you like learn a lot though, and then it like helped me become leadership staff, because if I wouldn't have done that, then I couldn't have told people how to do their job properly. So it was nice to kind of like do that for a couple of years and then progress up. And I feel like the difference from me being a counsellor to me being leadership is different as well. Like I just said the difference is different. But you know,
no way.
So you're realising stuff. But I feel like when I was a counsellor, the confidence I got was still great, but as leadership, the confidence I've got is even more, because I look after staff and I have to tell them to do things. And
big girl Ffion.
Sometimes they're older than me, and I'm like, you need to go do this. But you just do it, and then I think it just helps with personal confidence as well. Because now you know how to manage a team, you can kind of
got that leadership. Yeah 100%. But I think it just does have such a big influence. Like when, as you were saying, a lot of camp directors went to camp, moved there, or there's even like the ITPs, you know, where you can go for, are they a year? Is it? I think sure, for X amount of time, work there, like get more knowledge of the background of camp.
Yeah, like what goes around, like what happens all year round as well.
You don't really think of, I don't think.
Yeah, like it's like off season.
Yeah, I wouldn't have really thought, I think until I started working here, I thought like, well, what do they do year round?
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah, quite a lot.
A lot, yeah.
Because if it's not getting, like, hiring staff, then you're finding maybe new campers.
Yeah, programming.
To go.
Yeah, like programming for the camp. Like it's...
Thinking of new fun things to do whilst keeping, like, the...
wild
I don't know.
year round. Yeah. So I'm sure it's the same at your camp. It'll be the same at, like, most camps. But I feel like I've got so many friends from literally, like, everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, there's people at my camp from, like, Australia, Mexico, like...
Oh.
Literally everywhere. Same as yours?
Yeah, there was definitely like a couple of people from Australia.
Were there?
And I know one of my friends now from England has gone out to Australia, and then she's living with a girl who was from camp from Australia for free. I think in Melbourne, I want to say she lives.
That's so nice.
So it was really lovely, like, to see them two together as well, because obviously it's so hard to like go out to Australia. You can't just like go out.
That's one of the things. Like, it's so nice having friends from everywhere, but it's so like hard having friends from everywhere, because like it's so hard to... I find it, I'm quite bad at like texting and keeping in touch anyway, but I find it so hard to keep in touch. Or, you know, if something happens, you just want to text your friends, and it's like, oh yeah, I'll get a reply when they wake up in 7 hours.
I know what you mean. I'm awful at texting and keeping in touch as well.
But I think with camp friends, I mean, I don't know if I'm just speaking for myself here, but I feel like you've got one of those friendships where like when you do see each other, even if you haven't spoken much throughout the year, it's like
yeah, you're just so excited. You're like, weird again.
yeah. Because you've got that common ground of camp. Like I think when you go back to camp, I always say this, when you go back to camp and you see somebody who was there like the year before, even if you weren't that good friends with them, when you come back, it's like you've automatically got that bond and you're like so excited to see them. Like, oh my God, I can't believe you're back as well. We didn't speak that much last year. But...
there was definitely some people my second year that I got so close with that I just wasn't that close my first year.
I missed out so much last year.
Kate, no.
You weren't that good friends really first year?
First year, no, we didn't speak at all. Yeah.
No.
Not at all. Like we'd speak slightly, and then we found out we were both actually living in Liverpool at the same time. So after camp, we were both going to move to Liverpool. So we lived separately, and then we'd like meet up and maybe go for a drink, and then
you just be like, oh,
and then now we're best friends.
Let's live together.
Well, yeah. So we ended up I decided to do a master's because Kate was doing one, and then we ended up living together, and then literally best friends now. You've met her and everything. But we didn't.
She comes for lunch every other Monday.
Yeah. But we just didn't really speak. We didn't like not like each other. We just didn't really speak.
You just
first year.
People.
Yeah.
That is so great. Yeah. Because I do think it's one of the nicest parts, like having camp friends local.
Yeah.
Like my friend Maria just lives down the road. But then again, it's one of the hardest parts being far. Even like with my camp friends that live in Ireland, it's like just so close but so far.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
You're really close, but I couldn't come around for tea.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I think I've only got one that's close.
Yeah, Kate.
Yeah.
But then one of the perks of that is you've always got an excuse to go somewhere.
Oh yeah, so I'd say there's a group of like, including partners, I'd say there's probably like 18 maybe in the group, including partners though, so it's not like that many. And every single year we meet up in Liverpool for St. Patrick's weekend.
That's so nice.
People fly from the US to come over, and we get like a big Airbnb, and then and now it's just a thing. I don't know why, but that's just the meet up now. And then same, we go up to Scotland because one of my friends lives there, so we just stay at hers. In May. Sadly, she's going to camp early this year, so we can't do it this year. But we have been going there, and even when because I went to camp before COVID, so even during COVID, we would do Zoom calls every Thursday. Like every single Thursday.
That is so nice.
We'd have, obviously, you know, looking back now, it was like a quiz every Thursday.
Come on, guys.
Have fun. But yeah, we'd do a quiz every single Thursday, which I feel like was just so cute.
That is so nice. One of my friends, Chloe, she lives in Australia, but after camp she went travelling, and then she came to stay with me and my family for like... I think it was like a long weekend, and that was so nice because it's nice to see each other outside of that like camp setting, I guess, as well.
Definitely.
And I just found it so weird being like, this is where I went to school, this is like camp friends driving a car. I think it's the craziest thing ever because you never see them do it. And like,
because at camp it's such a different like world when you're at
100%. Like I just feel like that's always what does it for me. Like when I went to go and stay with my friend Maria in Ireland, and she picked me up in a car. You can drive.
You drive?
What? Like, oh, it's like
not just a golf car.
Yeah, it's like you have a house. And like, oh, this is your family. I think it's so nice to get to know that kind of like aspect of it. And then so when Chloe came to stay, we went to Wales as well, and it's just nice to see everyone. But she did like a little tour of the world on her way back to Australia. She went and stayed with some people in like,
I feel like it's far enough away that you've got
to do it. She did like Budapest, Spain and everything, but everywhere she went, I'm pretty sure she stayed with somebody from camp. Like,
that's
did
so
cute. A little world tour on the way back. I
absolutely love that.
Yeah, I think that's have you been to like far away to visit people from camp or?
Yeah, I think last year I went to Boston to see my friend. So not that far, but by myself. I just like flew to Boston, stayed at hers. It was literally like 4 nights, and then flew home. I was like, I just fancied going to see her, so got a flight.
Free will.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, I can get on a plane right now, and I can go to Boston if I want to. But I'd say that's probably like the furthest. Like I said, I'm quite bad at keeping in touch, and with like Australia, I can't. Like, I'm going for a couple of months, or I'm not going at all. Because it's so far that I feel like I don't want to go for like a 2-week holiday.
Well, I went to go and stay with one of my camp friends only in October in Bilbao in Spain. Do you know Bilbao? I think that's how you say it. It's So she's from the States, but she was doing a year abroad in Madrid. So
nice.
It was really expensive for me to fly into Madrid and then Bilbao, like the north of Spain.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm saying it wrong. I'm sure it's Bilbao. And so we just met up there and spent the weekend, but that was so nice. And then again, it was one of those like, you shouldn't be here. Like, you only exist in camp. Like, why are we in Spain? Like, it's like when you see teachers outside of school.
Yeah. That's why I found it odd when my friend who I went to see in Boston, she did a master's in Stirling in Scotland. So she was just always here, and it's like, what are you doing here?
Suspicious.
But then COVID happened, she had to move back to America. So,
really?
Yeah, it was all within that year.
Wild.
I know.
There and back and everywhere.
Yeah.
And then again, I think having camp friends come and stay, for me anyway, I felt like it kind of introduced it a bit into my family. Because obviously they hear me drone on and on and on and on and on about it like every single day. But then when I was like, this is a person from camp, like, she's
then
real.
Like, oh, I see it now.
She gets it. Yeah. And then I feel like seeing us together kind of like, you know, introduces it a little bit more into like
definitely
home life, for example.
Yeah. No, for sure. I feel the same when like my parents have met camp friends. They're like, oh, okay.
I get it. Yeah, fine.
Fine.
Because I think it's so kind of like, I feel a bit annoying like when I'm at home speaking to like my family and friends, like, and they say to me like, oh, this one time at camp, but I'm aware I do it.
But it's like a big part of your life 100%, as well, so you're going to talk about it.
It's a huge part of my life. So if they talk about a funny story that happened to them in Asda, I'm like, haha, this one time in Walmart. Like, it just comes naturally because it is such a big part of your life. So that's what, again, like, I think I could just text any one of my camp friends and be like, haha, remember when this happened?
Yeah.
Like, it's so important because your friends from home don't necessarily get it. Like, because...
Yeah, they do. I love how like my home friends always ask me questions and I'll answer and I can see like behind their eyes they're like, I have no idea what she's just explained.
Like
but
that thing with the
I'm like, I appreciate you asking and I'll explain. But I feel like unless you've lived it, you wouldn't necessarily like fully understand. Like, I feel like you can maybe know the basics and the gist of it, but I feel like you never like fully...
Because it just sounds like so like foreign, I guess, to them. Like, I'll come home and be like, so at Ropeburn, the CITs were doing this,
and then they're like, what are you talking about?
Mean? And it makes sense. So I think that like for me is another huge part of like keeping in touch with.
Yeah.
Like, I could, every time I have like a quick call with my camp friends, it's not a quick call.
It's like an hour, 2 hours.
And then I think, how was that an hour? That was the fastest hour of my life because it's so nice to catch up and natter. And I think they are those kind of friends that you don't have to speak to day in, day out. You don't constantly have to, you know, text every single day because you're always going to have that like connection, as cringe as it sounds. Like, you've always got that one place in common. And even if it's been, you know, like 9 months without chatting, haha, remember this one time, or like sending a memory or an old picture or something like that.
Yeah, well, that's why I feel like we're like insufferable when we're all together when we meet up for Paddy's Day, because I wouldn't have seen some of these people for like since the last Paddy's Day. So we meet up and we're like, I have a year's worth of stuff to tell you. Yeah. And then we're like, we'll just sit there and talk for like 24 hours and then we're all exhausted from just chatting and laughing.
Yapping non-stop.
Yeah.
That is what it's like. Like, I feel like it's so hard to be in like a bad mood around camp friends because you've got like all of those like memories and everything's just so special and cringe
so
and and funny. When you were at camp, like for me, when it was my first year at camp and the kids were saying to me, are you coming back, I felt like the people for me was like a huge part of like, I have to. Like, did you know your first summer that you were going to be going back, do you think?
No, I didn't really want to go back.
Didn't you?
No, for a lot of the summer I was like, not a chance am I coming back. Like, I think I just had like a bit of an attitude and I was like, no,
this is
not
cringe.
a chance. Yeah. Like, I'd look and I'd be like, oh, why are we like singing this song again? And like have that kind of attitude a little bit. But I feel like towards the end of the summer when I finally got into it and I was like, oh, okay, I can be weird and it's fine. Then I was like, maybe. But my camp director, when I came back for my second year, he was like, I was so shocked to see your email to say that you wanted to come back.
Really?
Like, he was like, what has happened to Ffion? Like, who is she? Because my first
have you been hacked?
Yeah, because my first year my face was always like resting, like really
monotone.
Yeah. to the point where my director was like, you need to smile, like you're going to be scaring the children because I just look so scary.
It is hard at first though, like it's a culture shock, and I think I was the same, but I think I was almost kidding myself. Like I would, when people would be like, are you coming back? A bit, maybe, don't know. Well,
and then in your head you're like, definitely.
I'll say depends what I've got on.
Yeah.
And then when like at my camp you get like invited back, when the invites back come out and everybody is texting saying, are you coming back, it's like, yes, like how could I say no? Like I just couldn't imagine myself saying no. And even when the invites out came back and everybody was texting each other saying, you coming back, yeah, in my head I was still a bit like, oh, don't know, might do, I'll see, don't know what I've got on, but it was always gonna be yes.
Was this summer your second summer?
Yeah, this is my second summer just gone, so I'll be
just going back for your third summer.
This time 2 months, be there for my third.
So you've only got 2 to compare.
Yeah.
Which one did you prefer, first or second?
Second summer, by a mile, and I could feel a difference in myself. My second summer, like I feel like this year I was like I knew when I was doing a good job.
Yeah.
Whereas my first summer, because I think it's so overwhelming and you've got so like you're constantly thinking about things.
Yeah.
Second summer you come in like you hit the ground running, you know.
You already know like the schedule, you know what to expect, you know how to handle situations.
Yeah, you know where things are, and
yeah, that's a big one though.
Yeah.
Because my first summer I'd be like really awkward, like I don't know where to go fill my water bottle up, but I don't want to go ask someone because like everyone else knows. And I'd just be overthinking everything.
I was saying to the kids like, where's lacrosse?
yeah. Where do I go for this, please? But yeah, your second year I feel like you just like settled in a little bit more.
You know it, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously still a fun my first year, but
100%.
Yeah, second summer I'd say was my favourite. I'm going back for my fourth this summer. But yeah, my second, I don't think anything will beat my second summer.
I've only got my first and second to go on.
Yeah.
But last summer, I feel this sounds so cringe, but I feel like last summer the whole thing was just like floating almost, like the whole summer. Like I was just on such a high for the whole summer. It was just incredible.
Yeah.
And then I think, like as I said earlier, I knew when I like first year Libby wouldn't be doing this kind of thing. Like you know when you're like, yeah,
I was on stage constantly my second summer.
It's like, yeah,
like I was like, I'll do it. Like for the campfire, I was like, go on, I've got it.
Petrol, come on.
But my first summer, I'd be like, not a chance you get me on stage.
And as well, I think with like sweating the small stuff, kind of that thing, like my first year, if something to go wrong, I'd be like, oh.
Yeah.
But then I think you learn your second summer, like, it's fine.
What's a problem and what's not.
Bounce back, you're fine. You just know, you know what's what.
Yeah.
I think. And then as well with your second summer, like you can negotiate. You pay a bit more as well.
Yeah, that was a big one.
Well,
I think I'm worth more than that.
Yeah, well, if you want me back. And your job role and things. So I think in your first year, for example, if you was to go there and do a job role and you didn't like it or want to do it again, like you can just say,
just change it for your second.
Excuse me.
I didn't do fishing my second year. Yeah. Well, I did kind of, but I was like, I think that every lifeguard should do it. So it was not like one person did it. We'd like rotate throughout the week, which was a lot better in my opinion. Yeah. Rather than doing it every single day. But that's something that you can, like I said to Paul, I was like, please, can this be the case?
I had a call with my camp with going back for my second summer, and like I ended up just helping out in rocketry. But you've got that kind of, you know who to chat to, and if you want to change things, you know what you want to be changed.
You've got like that relationship as well to be able to say that and feel confident in saying
it. Exactly. Like know exactly who you're going to be talking to. But at my camp for my second summer, I actually brought people with me. So at my camp they have like a referral thing. So if you refer somebody, you get, I think, I don't know how many dollars, but you get like, it's like an incentive for bringing people. So my first year I brought my friend Abby, and I actually brought my boyfriend as well. It's like, come on gang. Two, yeah. Didn't want them to come, just wanted the money. I'm joking. But yeah, so I think because I'd had that great experience and obviously hadn't stopped talking about it for the whole year.
Then they're like,
I was like,
I want to go.
Come along. Come with me. So I think I'm so glad I went into my first summer on my own, because I got to find my feet and I got to like change and learn things. And then
I don't think I would have liked going with someone.
For your first, I think I would have, like knowing me, I would have stuck to them a bit too much.
Yeah, same. Definitely.
Whereas for this summer, but yeah, so when I brought Abby and Scott to camp, I kind of wanted to leave them to do their own thing. So like in orientation, I wanted to let them
like chat to people.
have the same experience that I did. Like, I didn't want to like force them to be friends with the people that I was friends with, and I wanted them to be able to, like, I don't know, just like find their group and find their feet.
That's nice though.
In the same way that I did. Like, I wouldn't like to be kind of cliquey with them, because the reason I was bringing them is because I had such an amazing experience, and
you wouldn't want it to change theirs.
Like, if I was just being dragged around by someone my first year, I probably wouldn't have had as much of an amazing experience. But yeah, so I did enjoy that. Like, and I just loved having them to be able to show them. And again, it's more camp friends now. It's like I can speak to them even more than I normally do.
That's so true,
like,
actually.
Yeah. So we've got that kind of in common, because Abby actually lives in my street. So it's like, do you want to come around tonight? And then we just chat about camp.
Just chat, yeah.
But for the last time, we have a little, not quiz, quick fire round.
Scared it better not make me look silly again.
No, it's opinions. It's all opinion based, don't worry.
Okay.
So it's just 2 sets of questions, quick fire round. Okay, so you have to answer quickly.
Oh.
Okay, you ready?
Okay.
Favourite American fast food?
Taco Bell, sorry for anyone that didn't understand. I don't know why I thought I had to speak fast. Taco Bell.
Favourite camp breakfast?
Pancakes.
Favourite state?
Massachusetts.
Biased. Favourite camp activity?
Campfire.
Favourite camp memory?
God, it's very quick fire camp memory.
4, 3, 3.5, 2.5.
Karaoke.
What?
Context. It was like a rainy day. We did karaoke, and it was the day that Justin Bieber and Hailey got engaged. So I sang "That Should Be Me."
That should be me holding your hand. Okay, there's more. But this one.
Sweat.
Did you realise? East or West Coast?
East.
Left or right? S'mores or Pop-Tarts? Do they have gluten-free options?
I'd say s'mores. No, they don't. But...
Okay. Pool or lake?
Lake.
Rogue. Watch a film on the plane or sleep on the plane?
Watch film.
McDonald's or Chick-fil-A?
McDonald's.
Crocs or sliders?
Crocs.
Thank you very much.
And I only said the McDonald's because I've actually never had anything from Chick-fil-A.
Haven't you?
I can't.
Can you not even have the sauce?
What would I just eat the sauce?
No Chick-fil-A sauce.
Oh my god.
No Chick-fil-A sauce? Obviously, I feel like we've put so much emphasis on like returning to camp.
Mm-hmm.
Returning. But I feel like there's so many other great options as well. Like, even if you loved camp, or if like it wasn't the best experience you've ever had, but you want to keep traveling, like if you've got that travel bug, I think there's so many other things you can do as well. Like, there's obviously, we had that chat with Mark, so there's Camp Canada.
Yeah.
Sounds amazing. That's where actually, I don't know if I asked Mark this, that's where I think Camp Rock was.
Yeah.
In Canada.
It was
Walden.
No, that was Parent Trap. Camp Walden, Canada was Parent Trap, I think. But yeah, the ones in, there's like, it was set in 2 different camps anyway in Canada, Camp Rock.
She knows her stuff. And then there's Adventure China, camp in China. Yeah. If you're wanting to do something through your summer. And then as well, like we've got obviously there's resort leaders. So if you loved America, I feel like people, don't often like think about it, but you can also go through the rest of the year as well if you wanted to work in like a resort or
it's like an internship, isn't
some kind of hotel. Yeah, I think, is it like a yearish?
I think you can do a year. I don't think you have to do a year, but
yeah,
it's you can go like for like longer.
Like anyway. If you've got the obviously like travel bug, and then as well another long term one, Adventure Asia. That's where you go like teach English. I think. Teach English in Asia. I'd love to do something like that.
Yeah. I think that would be so cool.
Yeah, because once you've got the travel bug, like it's.
You just want to like keep going places,
go everywhere. Like
I feel like I've just been to like America now.
Yeah,
I feel like maybe it's time to venture somewhere else. Maybe not so far. Maybe I'll just go to Canada.
Maybe,
instead, but
maybe we should go to Canada. Maybe she'll go back to Pigeon Forge.
Yeah, who knows?
A resort in Pigeon Forge.
Okay, I'm gonna plug that idea. What if like Dolly Parton has a hotel or something?
Yeah, maybe you could do Dollywood.
Surely Dolly Parton's got a hotel, and he's looking into it.
Probably.
The one I stayed in Pigeon Forge was like £30 a night or something. But yeah.
There you go. Dream big. And again, for the final time, sadly, we have some questions which have been sent in by our lovely participants. So the first one is it scary to go through customs in the US?
I'd say it is a little bit scary. Just like, I feel like for the first time you're doing anything, it's going to be scary.
Yeah.
And I feel like when you get to if you've not been to the US before, then I guess it again would I'd been to the US before going with my family.
So you kind of knew what was coming a little bit.
Yeah. So I probably wasn't as like nervous as I'd say nervous is the word, not scared. Like I wasn't like scared when I got off. Like I was like, when I got off the plane.
Walk up and scream.
Yeah. It's definitely different.
Daunting.
It's a different experience to other countries, especially because you're going in like a work visa as well. I feel like not like cultural exchange visa, so it's kind of different than going as a tourist.
I think you're just automatically a bit kind of like, it's like a nerve-wracking thing.
Yeah, I feel like even when I go through security in England, like going somewhere, like I'm like, oh, what have I got in my bag? Have I forgot to take something out? Like I don't know.
Yeah, 100%. I remember my first year, I'd got myself so worked up. I was so nervous, and then I walked up to him, and he was literally like, "Camp counselor." I was like, "Yeah." It's like, "Have a good summer."
Yeah, it's literally like, "Right, see ya."
Was that a trick?
Yeah,
take me away. But no, I think as long as you've got all your documents and stuff, like, you're fine. It's just a person.
Yeah, I think I got asked like a couple of questions my first year. I can't remember what they were, but they weren't anything really bad.
Me if I had anything I shouldn't have in my bag. I was like,
I feel like they asked me like my political views,
really,
or something like that, and I was like, I don't know. And then they were like, okay, bye. Like, I think they were just probably looking out for me being like, oh, well, I hate this. Like, I think that's maybe what they were looking. But I was actually just like, I don't know, because I just panicked.
And off you skipped into the sunset.
Yeah.
I think they're never going to be trying to trick you out on anything. Like,
no, definitely not.
And to be honest, you're normally in the queue for like 10 times longer than you're actually chatting to them for.
Yeah.
That's it. Next question. Do you get a bus from the airport to camp, or do I arrange it myself?
It depends what camp you go to, for sure. Some camps will pick you up directly from the airport, but my camp, before we went, the director basically said, you know, you can fly into this airport or this airport, and here are the options, and like, here's what bus you can get on, what the latest bus is, even where you go to buy the ticket. It was like, so in New York, you'd go to Port Authority, and then you'd go to this window, so that it'd be like the Greyhound bus or the Peter Pan bus. You'd get asked for this, like, say, like, it was all kind of mapped out for you anyway. So I feel like I had it like written down, so I knew exactly what to do. So it was easy to find, and luckily I was in Port Authority bus station with like 4 people that were going to my camp too. So we all kind of were like, okay, is it this one? Is that one? Like, to get our tickets. And then after that, obviously I bought my tickets online before I went, because I knew which ones I'd be getting. But camps, I don't think a camp's ever going to leave you to kind of just find your own way to camp.
Oh, definitely not. So my camp's the same as well. We have to get the train, but I think correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they'll always pick you up from somewhere, even if you have to get like, I don't think they'll ever expect you to just like arrive. Like,
no.
Hello.
Yeah.
At camp.
They'll always, I think
they might just
not seen any
meet halfway
that would do that. Yeah.
But like, they're going to give you the clearest instructions, and anyway, even if you do get lost or confused or anything, like, you'll always have the camp leader's number if you need to give anyone.
And the camp's number too.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah. There's always like someone you can get in touch with, I feel like, that would be able to help you.
And I think every time I've been in camp, on my way to camp, I've always bumped into somebody on the way who's going to camp. Like, this year we were at Secaucus Station, and there were 2 girls sat in Duncan, and I was like, I've got a feeling they're coming to camp. And I went over to them and was like, what camp are you going to? And then now we laugh because she was actually my co through camp. Like, she was like my best friend from camp this year.
Oh, that's
and she always laughs at me because I went over to her and was like, are you going to camp? But with onward travel, it's always going to be made like clear well before you get there. It'll be like on the travel and flight section of your Camp Leaders application, obviously. And what I say as well is print it off, like, just in case you don't have Wi-Fi or anything, you've got it. And even if like,
I feel like I printed off my first
I think I print mine off now. Just in case. But then I think even like worst case, you could just show somebody the travel instructions, like at the ticket place, like,
if you're like panicking, please just take it,
get me here, please. But yeah, it's always made like, you'll always know well in advance, and you'll know who to chat to, worst case, if you do need a hand with anything.
So even if you read that like travel and flight section and you're like, that's not really that clear, you could just email
camp,
or
even
set up a call,
reach out to like returners in group chats. Like, they're gonna know it. They're gonna have like the hacks, the travel tips,
and they're gonna know if there's like maybe a different way.
Cheap. And then, because it's the final episode, we have a bonus question.
Okay.
And the last question of the podcast is, how much money should I take for days off?
So I don't really think you need like a certain figure. Like I think people get so bogged down thinking that they need like a lot,
set amount,
amount. But you can definitely do it on a budget. I don't think you need that much for days off, especially because at some camps you'll get paid as well during the summer. So at my camp, I think we got paid every 2 weeks. I can't remember now.
I think mine's weekly.
Weekly, yeah.
So that like tops you up as well.
Exactly, and you can use that for days off, so you don't need to take like hundreds and hundreds of dollars with you. Obviously, if you're planning on spending a lot and you know that you spend a lot, then plan maybe to take more. Just because I feel like if you spend it all in your first few days off and then you kind of wait in, because I know some camps get paid at the end of the summer. So it's definitely worth checking with your camp how you get paid and when you get paid. But
if you can get an advance or anything like that, if it's one of those ones at the end of the summer, I'm sure. Yeah,
because if you don't have a lot of money to take with you, then definitely wouldn't stress out at all. Like I think I said in another episode, my first year, I probably took a few $100.
Yeah, I didn't take much at all
or something. And that lasted me all my days off. It wasn't like I wasn't short on any of them. So I do think just plan for what you want to do. Think about when you'll get paid. And just think about what you want to do on days off.
Where your camp is as well. Like my camp's near New York City, so if we go into New York City for a day off, it's an expensive day off.
Spend a lot more money.
Yeah. But, if we're just going, like, we might go to the mall. Obviously, you'll spend a lot at the mall if you want to. But if we just go to, like, get food and go to the lake, we'll spend, like...
You're not really going to spend
like $20,
Yeah.
That's literally it. But so I would say just kind of depends, really, but don't stress.
No.
You'll be fine. So for the very last time, thank you so much for tuning in to the Camp Leaders podcast at home, whether you were watching or listening. I hope if you're going to camp, you're now feeling more prepared and excited, or if you were just thinking about camp, I hope you're feeling inspired to go and have the best time. Thank you very much. Bye. Thank you for watching this episode of the Camp Leaders podcast. If you liked it, please hit the subscribe button so you could be first to hear about our future episodes.